Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Happy at Home. My name is Alice Bull, and I run the membership group at scraphappy.org. Today, we have a special guest. We are at a special time, so hopefully that will be fun for some people. And if you're catching the replay, thank you so much. My guest today is Sara Scraps, and I have known Sara for a while. We've even got to meet in person one time or two times, a couple times maybe. And I really love the way that she uses, well, her pages are gorgeous, but I love the way she uses stamps on layouts. Like, a lot of us are kind of guilty of buying stamps because they're like, oh my gosh, that's beautiful, it's wonderful. And then we don't always use our stamps. Like, okay, let's put your hands up. I'm definitely raising mine. so So Cecilia says, hi, Sara and Alice. I see Amy here. She says, hi, Alice and Sara. And Beth is here saying hello. So we have a few people in the house. I'm so glad. So Sara, what makes you so great about using stamps? Like, can you tell us that for a second? And then maybe we can dive into what you're going to show us today. And we actually set up a play along. So Sara grabbed supplies. She said, Alice, grab these supplies. I've grabbed similar supplies from my stash, and we're going to play. So maybe we should give everybody that first in case they want to play with us, and then we'll dive into this.
Sure.
Go
ahead. We can start.
Okay. Do you have that list that you gave me? I have it here handy.
Yeah, I have it if you need it. If I can do it or you can do it. Up to you.
Go ahead.
Okay. So you're going to need 2 mugs of clean water. One of them we're going to get all dirty, but the second one you're going to have to keep clean, nice and clean. You need just 1 paintbrush. That's plenty. Some permanent black ink. I personally use Altenews permanent black crisp dye ink. And actually, I pulled this out, but I'm not 100% sure we're going to use it. So just have it handy in case we end up using it.
My favorite is the Gina K Amalgam ink. That is my favorite. I have professed my love, but I will mention it again.
You can profess all your love. That's fine. I'm going to use a floral stamp. Just lined. If you have a layering stamp, you don't need all the layers, just the regular, just one good lined stamp. That's all you need.
I saw she picked Altenew, and I'm like, I have some Altenew, so I picked an Altenew one as well.
Nice thick 12 by 12 watercolor paper. The thicker you have, the better, because we are going to play with lots of water. And then Distress Oxide inks in a rainbow color that you like. So I chose Warm Lipstick, Carved Pumpkin, Fossilized Amber, Mowed Lawn, Stormy Sky, Shaded Lilac, and Seedless Preserves. But you could just go down Roy G. Biv, pick your colors.
Perfect. So I chose the Kitsch Flamingo, Ripe Persimmon, Mustard Seed, because I don't have my squeezed lemonade yet. It's in the mail. I picked Evergreen Bough, but I'm kind of questioning this. I might want a different green. Broken China, and Wilted Violet. So those are the ones that I went for.
And that's it. That's all you need. Oh, acrylic block, of course. And I do have my Misty handy, but I don't think we are going to need it. I just kind of grabbed what I thought I would need.
Cool.
So we're going to do what I like to call a rainbow. Well, I just named it rainbow drip background. That's what I'm going to call it.
Yay. You know, I don't know that I've ever actually really done a good rainbow drip background. I'm trying to think of a page that I've made like this. So I'm really excited to try this. So if you've gathered up the supplies, maybe we'll chat just for a second and I'll talk about yesterday's session and tell you about that. So I got a cool product in the mail from my friend Deetra because I literally couldn't get one in a store. And they are the Simon Hurley Create stamping foam and from Ranger. And they are so much fun. This is what the product packaging looks like. Stamping foam. They're 3 inches by 4 1/4. And you get 4 of them in a package for approximately $5. So they're really inexpensive. You heat the surface you press something into the warm surface, it holds that shape, and then you can use that to ink this and make like a reverse image of different things. So we tried a bunch of um, different surfaces yesterday. One of the coolest ones that we started with was a stencil background. So I used the Starry Sky one from Sandy Reversky from Stamping Reflections. And I did a couple of different styles with the stencil. I also pressed in a stamp, a rubber stamp that I had, and I made this fabulous rose background. And then I pressed in some, I didn't have proper lace. I'm like looking around and I couldn't find any proper lace that was handy. And so I grabbed a piece of ribbon that had a little bit of lace trim, and if I had better lace to work with, I think it would work better. But overall, you can see like how cool that effect could be if you had a better sample. I pressed in a peacock feather, and we made the peacock feathers, which was super fun. I also put a metal die, and I picked one that I had sitting here from Concord and Ninth, one of my favorite companies. And I actually did a couple different versions of this because I loved it so much. I'm like, that is just beautiful. And then I've also done a couple with a feather, and I got a little playful with feathers. So you may see the return of this one in a future project. So very, very fun. The Stampin' Foam was easy to use. If you'd like to see that one, the Happy at Home playlist is listed here on the Scrap Happy YouTube channel, and that was from April 22nd. And it'll say Stamping Foam right there on it. So that was yesterday. Tell us about what we should do to get started for today, Sarah.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the camera around so you guys can see my desk.
Okay, and I will set up a desk split. So if you're right in the center of your screen, we'll be able to see your stuff. Right now I can see half of your paper. Do you need me to move? I can change this so that we only see your screen for a while, and then we'll just check in on my screen.
It's up to you. That's going to make it upside down though, so
yep.
That's not going to work. Okay. You know what? I'm not going to move my camera. I'm going to move my supplies.
It's okay. I'll just go to your desk for now, and then I'll follow along with you, and then we'll just do periodic spot check-ins. How about that? That way we
it's
can
up
see
to you, but I can totally surface. We can do this. There you go. It's just because I'm left-handed.
Oh yeah, no, it's totally fine. I wanted to be able to see like, oh well, It is pretty good actually. So
I did it.
Okay, look at us. We're all talented this morning.
Yay,
new time. Maybe it's good for me after all.
All right, so start with my stamp set. I'm just gonna grab one of the stamps. I have a couple different options here for flowers.
I have one option kind of for flower.
Well, that's all right.
But that's okay. It's a beautiful one. Actually,
you didn't know what I was doing.
I used this flower last year in a Happy at Home session, believe it or not. So it's making a replay. It's coming back.
All right. So what you want to do is kind of mentally in your head, you have to kind of break this up, right? Because we have to get 7 colors across here, right? Roy G. Biv. Yeah, 7. And we want to go about 1/3 of the way down our page, or a quarter. You could do a quarter if you want, or a third if you want, so 3 or 4 inches down. Okay, we want to just kind of keep to that area. Mark it if you want to, so you know where you can stamp to, that kind of thing. I'm going to grab a piece of paper here because I'm going to let my stamps kind of go off the edge. You want to ink your stamp up with your oxide ink. Oxide ink is important because we are going to use the fact that this will react with water as, okay. So you just want to get this nice and juicy. Ink it up really, really good.
And we want it right off the edge of the paper.
Right off the edge of the paper, you're going to create kind of like a little line, kind of fit your flower in. You don't want it to go. Remember, we have 7 colors.
Okay.
So we have to kind of make sure we have room for all 7 of them.
Okay.
So this is about how far I want to go. So I know I can do about 2 flowers down and then over.
I don't think I grabbed 7 colors.
Uh-oh. That's okay. Then just do 6.
I'll just grab one more. They are right here behind me. I am that lucky, so I'm gonna do it with 7, just like Sarah.
Well, so I am wiping off my acrylic block in between with baby wipe, and then I'm gonna just kind of dry it on my arm. Arms are fabulous for stamping. They're a fabulous tool. Then we're gonna ink up. This is carved pumpkin.
Oh, so did I already mess this up? I've done 2 pink ones.
Nope, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine. However you want. Go to your orange now.
Okay.
I literally went, Roy, I don't want red, I want pink. O, orange, Y, yellow. Like, super simple. So because we are doing a rainbow order, we know that the orange and the pink will play nice together. So if you can fit your flower kind of in there, if there's a gap.
Okay. I've got my Lawn Fawn stamp chamois. It's on my list of favorite products because I love this thing. It is so nice to work with and doesn't leave like the little hairs on your project. I so hated that from the little stamp cleaners of the old days.
So my thought process is stamp chamois and tidy towels smell after a while. But my Huggies baby wipes never let me down. So I just go for those.
So you're not overlapping them. I'm going to try overlapping my flowers since this flower is so huge. I'm going to overlap them a little. And I think that'll be
You totally can. Yeah, it would be fine. That's like color theory. If you're going in Roy G. Biv, those colors that are beside each other will play together just perfectly. And then just however you clean your stamp, just clean your stamp between colors. You're good.
Okay. I might run out of color space. This flower is huge. So I didn't need the
That's all right. We don't need a full rainbow. You can do partial rainbow. You could do, I mean, that's totally fine.
It's going to be beautiful no matter what.
I might even run out of colors here. I'm not sure. Run out of room before I run out of color. And that's okay. This is a fossilized amber.
Ooh. So mine is the mustard seed yellow.
The other thing is, if you look here, you'll notice my flowers are we're going down, up a little higher, down a little lower, up a little higher. You don't want that edge to be super straight. You want it to look kind of organic and, I don't know if flowy is a word, but flowy.
The other thing is super overlapping and different, but it's going to be beautiful. I can already see, I'm already loving this effect, and I have never stamped one like this before. So we are doing something totally new for me.
This
And
is
it's fun.
you will love this when it's all done. Another really great tip is to alternate the way that your flower is facing. So things aren't in straight lines, or, you know, like all the flowers don't look exactly the same. So kind of the nice thing about flowers, you can turn them upside down. They still look like flowers.
So I'm curious, did you grab your supplies? Are you playing along? Beth says, I love play alongs. And even if you're
I'm
working on
watching
something totally different, that's okay.
I'm watching the comments too. I have the live up on my iPad kind of off to the side here. So I've been kind of watching the comments too, in case anyone has questions. Okay, so I'm not a fan of green flowers, can I just say? So we're not going to do a lot of the green here. Moving on to my mowed lawn. I want to definitely have my rainbow order, but we're just going to do like 2 little green flowers.
I don't know. This is pretty, Sarah. This is pretty. I make an argument for green flowers. Besides, if you didn't like the mowed lawn, that cracked pistachio that would almost like, it's such a mint color that would be a good option.
That is a good option. I thought about like going that way, like doing an aqua. I played around with a lot of different colors when I was trying to pick out which ones.
Okay, I'm definitely not going to fit all these colors. I'm going to take the broken china out, and I'm going to go with peacock feathers because I think that's ultra pretty. Because I really want to get all the way to my purple.
Yep. I don't know if I'm going to fit 3 in here. I might end up getting rid of 1 as well.
But you do have 2 shades of purple.
Yeah, because one's supposed to be indigo. I don't even know really what color. It's like a bluey purple.
Yeah. Generally the color of dark blue jeans, like the really, really dark blue jeans that are work jeans. We did a color study during one of our load challenges. It was a load mini scrap the rainbow. And so, yeah, we learned a little bit about indigo. We learned about, just a few different things related to color. It's surprising where all my knowledge comes from, and half of it's coming from load these days. So, what do you need to know about Golden Girls? Because I'm all over Golden Girls. They were a very progressive show, I tell ya. Like, the issues they took on their show, pretty amazing.
You didn't even know it was coming.
This is so pretty. This is actually reminding me of a paper that I've had in my stash before. I'm trying to think.
Yours looks really, really good, Alice. It looks so fun.
I was like, how am I going to make these all fit? I'll just overlap them, and they're working out good. So I can't wait to see how this all turns out when we're done. So Amy's here, and she says, yes, purple.
You're going to be surprised because this is the hardest part of this technique, stamping all these flowers.
Okay, and this is not hard, so y'all can play along.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
You really can.
You heard me slip that y'all in there. I love that word so much. I wish I was Southern just so I could use that and seem like legit.
So I'm going to skip. I have this shaded lilac here, but I'm actually going to go ahead and skip it and just fill this in with the purple.
I think that's a good choice.
Because I have seedless preserves, which is like my favorite purple color ever.
I love this already, and we haven't done like the fancy stuff yet, right?
Well, you could totally just leave it as is.
I could, but this is watercolor paper. We are going to do something fancy with it. Oh, I know it.
Well, yeah, we are, but it's not as fancy as you think. You'll see.
Oh, I will. Okay, well, that's good. Stamp is cleaned up. You did a good job there, Sarah.
Now we have our rainbow ready to go. I'm just going to grab my mat to put underneath here because we're going to get messy now. Yours looks really cool.
So we've got our flowers. Okay. I think this next part is going to fill in the gaps, and that's where you're going to fall in love with yours, right? I'm guessing. I'm only guessing because I actually don't know what you've got us doing yet.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, so water, you want your paintbrush, just a regular paintbrush, and your water. Make sure you know one is clean and one is dirty. So right now, decide which one is clean and one is dirty because you don't want to mix those up.
Okay. I have a good question here. Where on earth do my paintbrushes go on my desk? Usually they're at an arm's width. I found them. It wasn't a question you could help me with.
No. Okay, get one that's pretty small. You want a paintbrush that's pretty small, but you want to put a lot of water on it. Okay?
Okay.
So what you want to do is you want to go on each flower, take that water, and just put a good amount of water just along the bottom of your flower. Pretty heavy, but just along the bottom, just to activate those that ink.
Am I going across or just staying on one for now?
You can go across a little bit. Kind of go into them a little bit. You just want to get a good bit of water. Okay. And then you're going to pick your paper up. You're going to tap it. So you get some drips. If you're not getting the drips you want, get yourself a little more ink.
So I got some drips, but they all went down one little spot, and they didn't carry any color with them. They like really, really wimped out on me here.
Well, you know. So we're going to fix that. Hold on. Go back and get your oxide ink.
Okay. Kept it handy.
Smush a little bit down on your mat. You want better drippage. Get it nice and just get it in there. So you can kind of see what I'm doing.
We're going to smear it in and we're going to cheat. Guys, this is cheating. This is how you cheat and this is how it's done.
Exactly. Now you should get some good drips.
I've got some good color happening now. It's like coming. I want to like start. So I saw
Don't want to use one time. Too much water. Don't use too much water. Just a little bit. Because if you use too much water, you end up with no flowers anymore.
Okay.
And that's not what we want.
I'm like telling this one to go. I'm like, come on, babies, drip up over here. Come on.
You want to know another trick? Here's another trick.
Okay.
Spray bottle.
Yeah.
And just put it right at that edge.
Oh. And let
just
it go.
Right at the edge. And then let it go. And you get some better drips.
Okay, so I'm going to go along the edge of this orange one now. And
yep.
Bring that.
Last, between colors, take this paper towel and sop up that extra water.
Oh.
Because remember, we want drips, but we also want to be able to still see our flowers. We don't want to lose the flowers. If you let the water sit there, you may end up with flowers that become just like blobs. We don't want blobs.
I could always totally cheat. I would totally cheat and just go ahead and restamp them. Do you notice that I'm a problem solver, sir? It seems like there's always a problem in scrapbooking, and it's like, okay, now how am I going to fix this? Now what?
Oh,
so, I'd love to know who is doing this. Is anybody dripping stuff with us? Are you dripping? Are you joining the drip club? We're feeling drippy today.
Okay.
I'm loving how this is going to look, actually.
Drips.
I noticed you're spreading your stuff up farther. I didn't spread things up farther.
Oh, you're staying more towards the bottom?
Yeah.
That's because I have all that room between my flowers.
Oh, well, I'm just gonna like muck the flowers a little bit. I'm liking the look of that. So
absolutely. This is your page. There's 100 things you can do with it. I'm gonna keep cheating and adding a little bit more color to mine.
Yeah, that's definitely working. That little extra bit of color.
Yep.
To help them go.
If you're using a really, really like these are lighter colors that I'm using. If you're using some seriously like bright, vibrant, pigmented inks, might not need to do that. I think it just depends on the shades you're choosing to play with.
Okay, so I'm gonna start.
And your watercolor paper will warp a little bit. It's the nature of what it does. And that's okay when it completely dries. Just go ahead in and put it under a really heavy book for a couple hours. Go do some laundry and come back. You'll be fine, I promise.
I'm just helping it learn to cry in the places that I want it to go.
Yep.
This is fun. I literally have not done a lot of this. Like, this is not a technique that I've done a lot of. And it's a stamping thing, and it's a watercolor thing, and I don't know if you know how obsessed I am with watercolor. So when you said pull out watercolor with stamps, I was like, ooh. I was so excited. Because I love it. It's
I picked the right mediums for you today.
Yeah.
So just do that for each color. Because you're doing a rainbow, they will mix, they will blend, and they will do their lovely thing. I do keep paper towel handy. I do believe in getting that excess water kind of off as soon as you don't need it anymore.
I yesterday had like the biggest issue because I did not have paper towel. I was doing that stamping foam thing, and I needed paper towel to wash the ink off in between all the things, and it was so bad. I just didn't have any paper towel in my room, and like I thought it was right here. I haven't been able to uncover it yet. I don't know where it was going, but yeah, that was just not around. So I ended up using Kleenexes over beside my desk to clean off the ink block. Thankfully, like it was just the block, right? So it has a pretty smooth texture, so that kind of worked for me. But if it was stamps or something, I would have had to go find something else. Like that just wouldn't.
So Gina asked a question. She said that she thinks gesso would be needed. You can use gesso if you want. In the words of Diane Reevely, I don't use gesso because I ain't got time for that. But I have no problem. Gesso is a personal decision that everybody needs to make themselves. It's not what I do. I just put this under a book and I'm good to go, but it is an option. I'm also using and painting on hot press watercolor paper, which means that it is made to take all of this beautiful color. And I will, when the layout is finished, it will be flat as a pancake and fine. But that is just my personal opinion.
Well, I think that like artist people use gesso, but like when I'm doing stuff like this, I feel like I'm mucking around and I'm like, no gesso required for mucking around. Sherry says she really likes the idea of restamping it once it's dry. And like honestly, I'm looking now and I think like the yellow I've lost some of the lines and the pink I've lost some of the lines, but the other ones are looking kind of okay. So I'm not thinking that I'm going to need them more. I really thought that I was going to need them. Like
if you want, you cannot say if you want. So now we're getting to the part where you're gonna miss my little trick. Then these are all watercolored, and you have your rainbow done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in with that permanent black ink.
Oh.
And then add the permanent black ink just to certain areas across the top, which is going to emphasize those the flowers. And then you end up with something that is a little more like, you know what you're looking at because you have the black on top of some of the color and the flowers. I hope that makes sense.
This is so lovely. Like, seriously, I am loving on this right now. Okay, let's take a little bit of this.
Oh, well, Gina has a point. She said she thinks that the paper would run, that the color would run down a little bit easier with gesso. And maybe it would.
Yeah, probably. And I think with gesso, that might actually allow you to use other kinds of inks that aren't distress ink. So if you don't have distress ink, then that might be a really good way for you to kind of play with a technique like this, because you'll get that running with some other inks.
Yeah, there's lots of ways. Everybody, if you watch a lot of stampers or mixed media artists, or there's lots of ways to use to create this look using products you're comfortable with. And I think that that's the key. If you understand the properties of the product you're working with, then use those products.
Seriously, this is gorgeous.
Yours looks awesome.
Gorgeous. I think because I'm like letting it do its nature, but I'm also really kind of pushing it around to make it go where I want it to go. Like that makes me like it. It's like, okay, I'll let you pretend that you're doing your own thing over here, but actually you're gonna do what I want. So overly bossy, maybe.
Yes, and like I said,
I'm an older sister. Just saying, I'm an older sister.
Don't worry about it warping. I've taken classes from Tim Holtz, and he always says paper has no memory. So anything you get, any kind of bending, you can bend it back.
Look at how you have that subtle color in between your flowers now. That turned out so good. Because you're able to spread the color into the spaces.
Into the spaces,
yeah.
And then it drips down. I got bigger drips and smaller drips, and that's okay. All right.
I bossed all mine around a lot.
So try to get some paper towel over your paper. Try to get it as what's the word? Dry as possible.
Dry? Okay. I don't want to dry it. I want it to like dry with the watercolor effect right there.
Okay. Well, then just let it go. Let it do its thing, and I'll just verbally tell you.
Okay.
You can see what I'm gonna do.
I'll watch what you do. I'll watch what you do.
Yep, that works.
I'm like just scared of ruining it now, right? Because I've made something I really like, and I'm like, what if I wreck it? Okay.
You're not gonna make it. Oh, Sherry said she agrees with Gina. Yep, gesso is fine. You could totally gesso your paper and then come back in. Whatever makes you comfortable, like I said, whatever you personally are comfortable doing.
Yeah, I think I blended so much of the pink that it would be good to restamp like at least one of those little pink flowers. But other than that, I think I would probably leave this. The yellow one got a little lost at the bottom too, in all of my color smearing. But it's just so pretty. Like,
it looks beautiful, and it wasn't hard, right? I mean, we still have 2 minutes.
Not the hardest at all.
The hardest part is the stamping.
But that wasn't hard. That was easy. There we go. Totally easy, fun. This is the perfect kind of play for a Friday. This is like the perfect kind of play. Okay, so now what are you doing with your Misty? You've got the 12-inch Misty. Okay, so first of all, talk to me a little bit about this 12-inch Misty. It may have come up in the Clubhouse chat last night about how this is on my list of things I want. I just got the restock notice for scrapbook.com, and I'm like, oh my gosh. If somebody's shopping there, I'm going to just put this out here. This is my affiliate link for scrapbook.com, bit.ly/scrappyshop. I always appreciate when people use it. It's in the description too, so shout out for that. But yeah, tell me about this Misty. What am I missing out on? How come I don't have one yet? And do I need one? Do I absolutely need one? Christina said I need one.
So I have to I'll talk to you about my Misty. So I have the ginormous Misty. That's what I call it. So it's the memory Misty. It fits 12 by 12. This is a non-stick kind of craft media mat that I purchased and use on my Misty instead of the paper. Because I get questions about this a lot too. It's basically a craft mat.
And
like from Ranger,
did you just cut it down to the right size that you needed?
No, I bought it already cut down, but I'm sure you could cut one down and be fine. Do you need one? So I think if you are like me and you're going to stamp on just about everything you make, then you need one.
Okay.
I think if you're going to play and you just want, it depends on how much you are going to stamp. Mm-hmm. They are quite expensive. They do make stamping easier. They're fabulous. I adore mine. But at the same time, if you're not going to use it all the time, then you probably are okay.
So Marcy says she's late because she was lost on the Tonic Studios website. Enabler alert. Enabler alert.
Oh my. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I have my Altenew Crisp Dye Permanent Ink, and I have this same flower. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to find a couple of areas where I want to add just 3. So we're just going to put 3 flowers in here. We're going to put one here. We're going to do one up here that kind of comes off the edge of the page, and then we'll do one over here. We're kind of making a little triangle of black flowers.
Okay.
We want these flowers to be super crisp, so that's why I'm using my Misty.
Okay, I'm going to go right to Sarah so you guys can watch her do the whole thing, okay? You can see that big Misty in action.
I like Altenew Crisp Dye Ink Permanent Ink because the ink pad itself is not super juicy. Okay. So that means I can hold on, I need my little Stampin' Bug. Here's a cute little tool if you have a Misty.
Yeah, so I've seen these now. Like, I was just introduced to this recently. I'm like, okay, this looks fun. Like, you get, like, sparkle tools and stuff. Like, I saw a really plain one, and I'm like, well, I wouldn't get that one, but...
They come in all different kind of styles and colors, and mine has a pineapple on the bottom.
So is it kind of like felt on the bottom or something to make it glide, or what?
So I'm going to show you how they made this. This is kind of cool. Okay, so this is the top of a candle. Okay. You can see the jar candle. You can see the little things there.
Oh, the little seal.
Yeah, and then it's filled with some kind of heavy something. I don't know what's under there. And then it has this kind of like wood stopper and felt.
Cool.
And it just makes it nice and heavy.
So that you can get that nice even pressure a little bit easier than trying to do that with your hand.
Right. I have issues with my finger joints and my wrists. So.
That's funny. Amy says, "You're welcome, Marcy." Exactly. And Sherry says, "I have both the Tim Holtz stamping platforms and the We Are Memory Keeper one also. I really loved that We Are Memory Keeper, the way it has like the little holes so that you put the little platform down, and then you can put different platforms for like the multi-layers. I'm like, I have the Tim Holtz one. That's the one that I have.
A Tim Holtz one will stamp 12 by 12.
Yes.
You have to
like the good thing about that is you can stick your paper out of it. So here I can put my split back on. So the Tim Holtz one that I have is...
But I will say, if you look now, my paper's out of my Misty too. I mean, so I think the Tim Holtz one is perfectly fine.
So, because then with this one, like if you wanted to do more, you can put it in here and it can stick out of here without creasing your paper. And then if you need to use a different part of the paper, you just turn it, right? So that you can get to different areas within the actual thing. And here, like the lid comes off so that if you're using clear stamps, you use it with this side. And if you're using rubber stamps, you load them up with this side. And it just gives you a little bit of a different ledge for the different thicknesses of the material that you're using.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I have any of the rubber cling stamps, so I've only ever done it with...
Usually rubber cling stamps are Diane Reevely or Tim Holtz stamps.
Yeah, I don't have any of those.
Stampers Anonymous.
I have a couple of old rubber ones, but they're on their base. I pulled one out yesterday. I used that with the thing. It was so beautiful. I forgot how much I love this stamp. It's beautiful. But so she's adding these black ones. They look so nice. Am I brave enough?
They give you, like they give
with
you
your
that
flowers
pop.
being smaller. Like I think if I add big black ones, you're gonna cover up a lot of my flowers. I'm a little worried about that.
Possibly. I think yours looks beautiful just the way it is.
So I think I'm gonna skip the black, but I am gonna go back in with my pink, and I think it's not quite dry enough to do that. Maybe. Not quite. Because I didn't sop anything up either. I'm like, this is great watercolor. It can just like...
You know what? Sometimes I don't, but because we are kind of on a time thing, and I wanted to make sure we got all the different parts of this
Get the stuff done.
Yeah.
So one thing that I noticed that you do with your stamps is you don't only use them on backgrounds, but you like to use them on different things. Like sometimes it's more embellishment. Sometimes it's like just a piece in an embellishment cluster. Sometimes you're doing stuff with titles. Like, I think that, as far as stamping with layouts goes, like you're so good with that. Do you have any other tips about actually getting them out and using them? Like,
keep them handy. Don't hide them away in drawers. I have a set of go-to stamps. So it's a set of things like little numbers and like alphabets, numbers, some basic shapes. And they sit right like right there. I don't know how else to do it. They're like in a little container and they're right there.
Yeah, but they're right in your space.
Yes, they're in my eye line. And so another thing I would do is practice. When you get a new stamp set, practice with it. Get some scratch paper, because if you practice with a stamp set and you're familiar with it, you know what it's going to do for you. Mm-hmm. Then when you're scrapbooking and you need XYZ in your head, you're going, wait, I have that stamp and it's going to fulfill this on my page if I go ahead and stamp it or pull it out. Mm-hmm. Another thing is, if you're in the mood to stamp, you're kind of in that session where you don't want to necessarily scrap, but you want to stamp. Make some clusters. Make some, everybody has their kind of go-to color combinations that they tend to go to quite often. So grab some of those colors and grab a stamp set and just make a couple of layered embellishments using those stamps. I also think that when you buy stamps, it's important to know that buying stamps to scrapbook with is quite different than buying stamps to make cards with.
I agree.
So it starts with,
I love like Bon Fon stamps. I think they're adorable and wonderful, but they're really hard to make useful on a scrapbook page. The style of them is just not what I would use for a scrapbook page, but they're great for cards.
Don't get sucked into the cute critter world.
It's so easy though.
I know it is. I always say, when you're looking for stamps to scrapbook with, look at the stamps and think to yourself, if these came in multiple colors in a big die cut pack, would I want 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 packs of them? And if the answer is yes, go for it.
Yeah, because like I would buy some things from Doodlebug for my stuff, but you know, a lot of my pages aren't going to be that style. So
right. Great stamps, great go-to stamps are things like open flowers like these. I
love layered flowers. Like I love when you have like multiple steps. Like for me, like this, I don't have the price tag on it, but I bet you I paid like $35 for this stamp set, maybe more, because they're super expensive here.
I'm going to run into my scrap stash really quick. Hold on a second.
Okay. But yeah, like having the ones, oh my gosh, I love how that black popped on her page. Oh! But yeah, like looking at ones like this with the multiple steps where I have like just the plain. So today I just used the plain backgrounds and I didn't use the other steps, but I've used the other steps to do this and it's great. So Cecilia says, oh my gosh, Sara has a series on her subscription YouTube channel that is amazing. So you go to Sara Scraps on YouTube and she has a YouTube subscription. It's like a membership. And how much stuff do you post on there, Sara? Like you have a couple different levels.
So I have a couple different levels and I do one live a month at a certain level and then 6 exclusive videos every month, depending on what level. So you can do just a short level and get 2, or you can do, you can have more content. Depends on what you want, I guess, would be the way to describe it.
Well, and if you want to actually use your stamps more, then that is something. It's not like you're exclusively into stamps. Like you play with plenty of other things. Like look at the watercolor stuff we did today. But I think it's something that I see a lot of on your pages, and I love that you're able to use these. Like if I pay $35 for the stamp set, I better use it, right? Like.
It's so funny Cecilia says that, because I was just going to say, if you want to learn lots of ways to use stamps, I'm doing right now in my subscription, we are doing what I'm calling the stamping class. So it is all of March, April, May, and June. And we are doing, if you get the big level, the all the things level, that gives you 6 exclusive videos all on stamping, and every month is a new topic. So like last month we did layered stamps, and I want to show you here. I can show you here 2 of the pages that I created and shared using layered stamps.
Is this the same flower? No, it's a different flower. I was going to say, is this the flower I just used? It looks so similar.
Yeah. It is a Build-A-Flower. This is the ranunculus Build-A-Flower. So these are 2 of the layouts I taught.
Stamped. Okay, tell us what you stamped on this page, because I don't think that's obvious when we look at it.
Which one?
On this home page, yeah.
So all these circles are layered stamps. This entire kind of background on this part, that's all stamping.
Isn't that beautiful?
And then this one, all of this is stamping, all of this is stamping, and then all of the flowers back here.
I love this. Like you've created border effects, you've created embellishment effects, and you've created like a backdrop for your photo and your layers to kind of sit on. So it's like that little base that everything just sits on top of. Yeah, that's beautiful. This says yes. And next month is stamping titles, and I can't wait for that.
Yes. Next month we're stamping titles. She's right.
Yeah.
So that's some of what you get with the subscription. And I did it through YouTube. It allowed me to set my own price, and I kept the price reasonable because I really didn't. I want everyone to be able to get a little bit of content, extra content if they want, and I don't want anyone to feel like they are like you're getting priced out of it. I hope that makes sense.
No, that it's very reasonable. Jody says beautiful, and Marcy says wow. Yeah, because your pages are gorgeous. Like, yeah, I think everybody was like, I had to get you to tell us like what you had stamped on that layered one because it looked like beautiful background paper that you purchased. Honestly, I'm like, it doesn't look like you stamped anything there, hon.
Yep, totally stamped stuff on there. So that's a really great. That's a really and that's really all I do on my YouTube channel. I have a Facebook group.
And then she teaches a class every month within the Scrap Happy membership too.
I teach scrap school. Every month. This month we're doing sketches in the circle group. New sketch every week. Every Sunday, and lots of people are playing along with that, and I'm loving seeing everyone's pages.
And because we didn't want to miss out on having like a little live session with Sarah, we also made sure that we had time for today. So I was really excited. Yeah.
Well, I hope that go get your stamps out. I'm calling this one done.
Okay, I'm going to put ours side by side so that we can see both of our pages. I didn't add the black because I was too scared to ruin it. And Sarah's got the black. Can you put it just a little bit to the side? I think to your left. Yeah, perfect. Look at how gorgeous those are. We stamped. We used our Distress Oxides. We created some fun watercolor drippy things. And just made some backgrounds that are going to be beautiful to scrapbook on. Sarah, this is awesome. Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. I'm so glad you liked it.
I'm going to go back to this. And I guess, is it hard for you to flip around to your face?
Nope, I can flip around to my face. Hold on a second. It's actually quite easy on a particular device program.
Okay, she'll be here in a second. We can still hear you.
There we go.
Jody says it was so fun and pretty. And Marcy says, I'm trying to imagine how many hours that would take me. Not very often. This is less than an hour. And that was like, we grab the supplies and we go, right? Like this is how she does it. Like it's just about sitting down and doing the stuff. Cecilia says, thank you, Alice and Sarah. So can you tell us where people can find you in your different places, what to look for online?
Sure. So if you are on Facebook, you can type in Rediscover Your Stash, the Facebook group, and you will find that we have a lovely, drama-free, easygoing group of people. We pick a product every month and we focus on that product and using that product out of our stash. We're going to have prizes and games and super fun stuff coming up in there for National Scrapbook Day, and that's all free. I have my YouTube channel where I probably post 5 videos a week-ish, plus another 6 through my subscription. And the subscription is more, so in a regular process video, you might see like just kind of tips, or not so much tips, but like, okay, this is what I did. Whereas when it comes to stamping, right now in that membership, we're like all the tips down and dirty, all the little stuff, including things like my top 10 stamp sets for scrapbooking, how to use those layered stamps, tips and tricks for using them, all of those kinds of things. So every month we are focusing on a different topic or different set. Last month was all the layered stamps. This month we are working with simple shapes. We're going to be creating some quilt designs with stamps, those kinds of things. And then like Cecilia said, next month is all the titles and all the letters.
Hey, I love how you have like so many creative ideas that really help us get to use our products. Use some of your stashes, Gina. Yeah. And
Yes,
just
Gina,
just
come
to
join
sit
us.
down and
We have a great
create,
time
right?
in our
When you sit down and create, then you actually sit down and make your pages too. And I love that so much. Well, thank you so much,
mm-hmm.
Sarah. You can find her on Instagram as well, at Sara
Mm-hmm.
Scraps.
It's
Is it
all Sara Scraps. Anywhere you want to look for me, if I have an account there, it's Sara Scraps.
anywhere you look? And my Instagram is at Alice Bowl. That's where you see it right there. And I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. We are back on Monday. We're going to be back at the regular time of 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern time on Monday with our final week of our creative techniques for the Happy at Home series. I hope that today helps you make some scrapbook pages you love to really like play with your stash. Like, it's so gorgeous.
That
And
looks so pretty, Alice. It looks beautiful.
and
Beautiful.
I love it. And Gina says she's already a member. She's got that done. I love
Yes.
it. And hopefully this makes you a little happier at home. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
See you guys later. Bye.